right, everybody, we're in Monday study. Click on the links around these videos, below these videos, to be blessed, to be encouraged, to be prayed for, to find resources that can help you in your walk with God. My name is Dwain, and I know there's some good stuff there for you. All right, let's get into the Word of God today. We're talking again this week about the message of the cross of Jesus Christ. And today in particular, the foolishness. Some say it's foolishness, and Paul says it's only foolishness to those who are perishing. To people who don't know its power and don't understand the Christ hanging on that cross, it's foolishness to them. But to those who are being saved, it is the power of God. It is special. It is transformative. The Apostle Paul uses this word foolishness, this word Moriah, several times in the book of 1 Corinthians. And in fact, in 1 Corinthians alone, about 6 different occasions, he uses this word foolishness. And let's look at some of those. 1 Corinthians 1:20, the apostle says, where's the debater? Where is those who are, have wisdom of this world? For since the wisdom of God, the world through its wisdom did not come to know God. The world has not come to know God because of all of its learning and wisdom and all of its great expressions and all of its learning, all of its intellectual capacity has not led the world closer to God. That's because we got a messed up heart. Human beings have a heart that is deceitful above all else, and nobody can really know it. Our hearts mess us up, right? And I'm talking about the heart in our head, right? Our thinking. The foolishness of our own thinking allows us to put stock in ourselves and not in God. 1 Corinthians 1 and verse 23 says, but we preach Christ and him crucified. To the Jews, it is a stumbling block, and to the Gentiles, it's foolishness. It was a stumbling block to the Jews because who in the world, if you were Jewish and knew the history, would follow a Messiah that gets crucified by the Romans? That wasn't the Messiah they were looking for. They said, I'm going to trip over that. That's a problem for me. I'm not going to be able to get over that. And the Gentiles look at that and say, well, why would you preach to me a God that gets crucified and dies? For them, it's foolishness. Like, what kind of God is that, that gets crucified on a cross that we were able to control, the Roman authorities were able to control? It was a foolishness to them. So Paul says, call it what you will, but that doesn't change the efficacy of the sacrifice, and it doesn't change the power of the man on the cross, right? 1 Corinthians 1:25, because the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. See, God's foolishness is stronger than my wisest wisdom, my wisest day. God is better on his worst day than I am on my best day. Right? His wisdom supersedes us. And that's what the Apostle Paul gets at in multiple places. To the Greek word, this word foolishness, it was foolish. And if you think about it, Paul really faced an uphill battle preaching Jesus Christ. He was preaching to Jews who didn't want to hear it because their quote unquote Messiah was crucified. They said, no, that's all right. I'll wait for the one that's not crucified. And then he's trying to convert Gentiles who are looking down on him and saying, where is this man getting this crazy philosophy from? But yet, in spite of those polarizing views about his belief system and what he's trying to teach, Paul does not stop preaching. Oh, this thing blesses my heart. Just because you get opposition don't mean you don't live the life God has called you to live. You don't preach the gospel God has called you to preach. You don't share what God has called you to share. Just because people have an issue with it shouldn't stop you from doing it. And the Apostle Paul continues to share the gospel. And many souls, Jews and Gentiles, are won to Christ because of that. That's our study for today. The foolishness of those who are perishing. But it saved a whole lot of people.